A lot of us have been there. You're walking through a model home, it's beautifully designed down to the last detail. The perfect lighting, super sleek finishes, designer flooring, and you really can't help but picture yourself living there. But then the reality hits and you ask yourself, what does it actually take to buy a new construction home? In this video, I'm gonna walk you through 7 things you need to know before buying a new build in Placer, Sacramento, or anywhere really. And if you're even thinking about buying that new home, you'll want to hear this because I'm gonna share the entire process, insider tips, and exactly what to expect in our local market. Hey, what's going on? Jake DeRosa here with the DeRosa Real Estate team. As a resident of the area for 49 years and a broker for 23, we've helped hundreds of people buy, sell, relocate in, relocate out of this market. So if you like our content, please drop a subscribe, throw us a thumbs up, and we encourage you to ask questions. We love interacting with anyone who comments, asks a question, or just shares their insight on the process. So drop us a comment, throw us a like, and with that being said, let's get into today's content. So first up, definitely look at getting a buyer's agent, even when working with the builder. This is one of the biggest myths I hear. People assume the builder sales rep will handle everything and take care of everything. And while they do a ton, the truth is they actually work for the builder. They're not gonna necessarily volunteer information about where you can save money, what the best deal is, etc. That's where having your own agent makes a huge difference, helping you understand the contract, protecting your deposit, negotiating incentives, and make sure you're getting the most value out of your new home purchase. In our local market, I've actually seen buyers save tens of thousands on things like lot premiums, design credits, interest rate buy downs, closing costs, just by having someone in their corner who knows what to ask. And just make sure your agent is always there with you when you register. And I'll give you an example. In a situation with me, we had a home buyer, a client of mine, has been a lifetime client now and a great friend. They purchased into a new home community. We represented selling their property. They were in a rent back after the sale. Everything was going smooth until the appraisal came in short. Now, the appraisal came in short because of certain things that it was a VA, it was outside lender, etc. Now, with that being said, buyer didn't have $20,000 to come to the table with, so that's where I had to start making calls. I called the sales rep. They really couldn't help me out. I didn't like their answer. Went above them to an area manager. I didn't love their answers. They weren't really helpful. And then finally, I got the regional president. After talking with him, sharing, hey, let's make this a win-win. We negotiated and came to an agreement where they dropped the lot premium, we kicked in compensation for the brokerage, and it ended up being a huge win for that buyer where they didn't have to come out of pocket. And of course, as you can imagine, we are friends and they're lifetime clients, and I'm just so happy that they were able to get that done. So there is definitely value in that. We just had a transaction where we saved our client $50,000 off price, incentives, just insane amount. So having a buyer's agent can really help you when you're going to get a new build. Number 2 is the base price is just the beginning. So those signs you see hidden all over the place, they're out everywhere, homes from the 600,000s, they're great. But that's really just the base price, the price of the smallest floor plan on the cheapest lot with the most basic finishes. Here's what actually goes into the final price. You got to factor in lot premiums, which can add 10 to 40,000 or more in a lot of places. You add in structural upgrades like a covered patio, choosing the multi-gen suite, or the extra bedroom instead of the office, or maybe even an extra garage space. Then you go into design upgrades, floors, cabinets, countertops, staircases, you name it. Appliances, unless they're offering as an incentive, are pretty much not included. Backyard landscaping is not included because it comes as dirt. And so it's not uncommon to spend 10 to 30% above the base price, depending on your taste and your selections. So definitely base price is not final price. And leading, we talked about the backyard. Number 3 is your backyard comes unfinished. And if you're in an HOA, you're actually going to be on the clock. Almost every new construction home in our area comes with a dirt backyard, and most HOAs require you to submit a landscaping plan within 6 months and complete the work within 1 year of closing. If you don't, they actually could hit you with a lot of fines. Some of these HOAs are stricter than others. I had a friend of mine who had to actually give a deposit and then submit a plan, and they only got their deposit back once the work was done. It was crazy. He didn't love it. I mean, if you want to build a pool and you're in an HOA, you'll need HOA approval permits, all the things in a solid contractor. I mean, in today's market, pool installations are taking 8 to 12 months after move-in. It's a major project, so you want to start planning early if you are in an HOA, and if you're not, just make sure you budget backyard. It could be a simple backyard, it could be an elaborate backyard, but you want to make sure you're budgeting for that.
So you're thinking about relocating to the greater Sacramento area. Well, I've got just the thing for you. Our team has actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research. And I've linked it down below, from top employers, best hospitals, best schools, and a ton of other things that you need to know before making the move. The best part about this guide is it's 100% free. That's right, 100% free. Just click the link in the description or the top pinned comment. Hope this helps.
Number 4, be flexible with your timelines. So before the pandemic, new builds in our area were taking 6 to 8 months. And I'm talking if they hadn't been started and there was just pad or no pad at all. So it's from the very beginning. And a lot of times new builds are taking much longer now. And 8 to 12 months, sometimes even longer. And there's a lot of things that go into that. First off, we're seeing labor shortages in the new building communities, losing workers. You have permit issues. We have permit issues with the type of home that's getting put on that lot, maybe approvals, things like that. And a big one, if you're buying in the late summer to winter time, you can also have weather delays. Like it starts raining, they can't move forward, you name it. I always tell my clients to have a backup plan, whether that's a short-term rental, an extended lease, or staying with family. You need to leave wiggle room in your move-in timeline. So make sure that you understand that that sometimes is flexible. Now on the flip side of that, you have what they call standing inventory. Those are homes that are already built, they're already finished, and you can purchase those and have a quick move in. The only thing with the new inventory is you don't get to pick finishes. They're already picked for you. It could have been a home that fell out of contract or one they just built and put together. So definitely consider the timelines when you're looking at purchasing a new build. Number 5, financing. You want to be strategic. Most builders require you to get pre-approved with their preferred lender. The purpose is to make sure that you are qualified. They have their own companies as well a lot of times. But here's the thing is you're not actually obligated to use them. And it's actually smart to shop around. Many builders offer really compelling incentives if you go with their lenders, and sometimes they win by a mile. They're not just surface level perks. In our local market, builders are currently offering anywhere from 10 to 30,000 in closing cost credits. Some of those credits can be used towards closing costs, others are used to buy down your interest rate, and others are design credits. In fact, a lot of the builders right now are using 7-year fixed ARMs. So basically your rate's fixed for 7 years, and they're in the 3% range, 3.99. I've seen 3.75. So there's a lot of things there that can go into that. Just depends on what your situation is. Now, with that being said, let's talk about buy downs. A buy down is when the lender or builder pays upfront to reduce your interest rate. So essentially they're paying a bunch of your interest and P&I for the first years and permanently doing it if it's a permanent buy down, and there are temporary buy downs. The most common ones we see right now is the temporary buy down. It's often structured as a 2-1 buy down or a 3-2-1 buy down. That means your interest rate is reduced by 2% in the first year, 1% in the second year on a 2-1 buy down. And then it adjusts to the full rate in year 3. For example, if the market rate is 6.75, your first year could be 4.75, year two would be 5.75%, and then it levels off at 6.75%. That can mean hundreds of dollars in a monthly savings. I've seen people saving $600, $700, $800 a month in their first year, especially during those early years when your budget may be tight. But here is a critical reminder. If you're taking advantage of a temporary buydown, you need to be financially prepared for the fully amortized rate once the buydown period ends. That jump from 4.75 to 6.75% can translate into a significantly higher monthly payment. Make sure you're budgeting for that future amount from day one. Even if you're enjoying a lower payment now, it's easy to get comfortable with the payment and the initial savings, but you don't want to be caught off guard when the full payment kicks in. Definitely not a good thing. Now, a good lender and your buyer's agent will help you understand your long-term obligation and the affordability, and not just the short-term perks. Now, on the flip side of that, some builders are even offering permanent buydowns, reducing your interest rate for the life of the loan. This could bring your rate down by 0.5%, half a point or more, depending on the deal structure and your loan size. But here's the key. Always compare what the builder's lender is offering to what an outside lender can do. Sometimes the builder lender wins by a mile. Literally, I've seen them. I tell my client, use the builder's lender. Don't use the guy we connected you with. And then on other times, a local bank or credit union might offer a better long-term deal. They might be better on the permanent buy down if that's what you're set on. You don't want a 2-1. So if you lock with a lender or you're looking at it, make sure you compare. And make sure you compare the different programs that are out there. Another thing to remember is if you lock with a lender too early and your build is delayed, you could actually miss out. That's why it's so crucial to ask whether they offer long-term rate locks. Many of them now are offering locks up to 180, 270 days, or even a full year. It will cost you a little bit on rate to lock that long, and sometimes they have what's called a float down policy. If rates improve during your lock, you can take advantage of the lower rate. You want to ask those types of questions, especially when you're looking at that longer term. And since your closing could be months away, locking in your rate can really protect you from rising interest rates. And that peace of mind is invaluable. I had a client of mine who said, hey, they're giving us a 6-month lock at, again, this was when the rates were a lot different, at like 3.875. I said, lock it in, definitely lock it. She did, and within a month, the rates were above 5. So she scored with that rate. So locking in early can definitely protect you from rising interest rates in the future. And a lot of banks or lenders will offer that float down policy. So it's kind of a win-win, just depends on your situation. All right, number 6, the design center is fun. It's fun and it can be overwhelming. So once your contract is signed, you'll actually head to the design center to choose all your finishes, flooring, countertops, cabinets, lighting, hardware, paint colors, etc. Now, some of these builders have the whole scheme already laid out, and you just pick a scheme, and for no extra cost, you get this. So check into that. If you're more customizing things, you can customize it all, literally. So my advice on that is spend money on things that are hard to change later, like electrical, maybe having that covered patio, things like that, potentially flooring. Skip the ones that you can do after closing. For example, a decorative fireplace wall or cabinet pulls, something you could hire a contractor that you will probably save money on, or upgrades you can add at a future date. Stick with the main heavy lifting in the design center and then save some money to do things after the fact as well. Because here's the thing, upgrades add up really quick. And then also you don't want to forget resale. You could totally over upgrade the home and it won't do resale if you plan on moving. And that bold blue kitchen color that you might love might be cool, But if you're planning to sell in a few years, think about what future buyers want too. Just something to keep in mind there. All right, now let's talk about warranties and what protection you really have when you buy a new construction home in California. One of the benefits that often gets overlooked is the builder warranty, and it's a big one. Most builders provide a 1-year fit and finish warranty that covers cosmetic issues like paint, drywall cracks, and trim. And this is your time to live in the home and make note of anything that might be needing fixing. And the builder is typically required to make those repairs at no cost to you. In addition to that, California law requires specific structural warranties for all new homes. Under California's SB 800, also known as the Right to Repair Act, builders must provide a minimum 10-year warranty for structural components. Think things like foundation, framing, and load-bearing elements or walls. There's also a 4-year warranty for plumbing, electrical systems, and the 1-year warranty for finishes and materials. These protections are baked into state law, which is really cool because it's law at that point, regardless of what the builder provides on paper. So know what your protections are, know your rights. And another thing to know is that most builders outsource warranty claims to third-party companies after you close. These are often referred to as warranty departments or customer care teams. It's important to keep all of your documentation and take photos of any issues you notice. You will go through a tape process right before you close where you're gonna walk the house with a builder, point out, hey, this paint's wrong, crack here, this flooring doesn't look right. Once you move in, you'll wanna pretend it's that blue tape situation throughout that first year. Take pictures of cracks, all those things, so that you can put that claim in and make sure that you get it taken care of. And some buyers sometimes even schedule professional inspection around the 11-month mark to catch anything before the 1-year warranty expires. So definitely a lot of options that you have. And keep in mind, these warranties don't cover everything. Normal wear and tear, homeowner modifications, and landscaping are often excluded. But for big ticket issues, this coverage can be literally a financial lifesaver. Bottom line, a new home comes with layers of protection from the builder and from California state law. Just make sure to stay proactive, document everything, and lean on your agent or anyone in the builders for guidance if any issues pop up. I often have had people who bought new homes have issues. We talk through it and get them to the people they need to be talking to. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, and drop a comment if you found this helpful. I will see you in the next one. Cheers.